My father thinks that millennials are ruining the napkin industry, which is concerning in a multitude of ways. One being that he thinks there's an entire industry dedicated to solely napkins and not paper products as a whole.
Because we have
'Cause
some on the floor right there.
something about paper towels. So apparently there's a paper towel industry and a napkin industry.
love paper towels and napkins.
Welcome to Vinyl Reckoning. My name is Matt.
I'm Stacy.
So this video I've been thinking about for a while, simply because I know I can pick almost any record off this shelf and tell you the story about how I obtained it. Not necessarily the music on it, that's a whole other thing. But I can tell you the story of the day I bought it, or what point in my life that I received this record as a gift, or that, pull a High Fidelity, or bought it for a gift and decided not to give it to them for whatever reasons.
What?
So I wanted to pull a couple random records from our shelves and really just talk about the story behind them.
Right.
Not the music on it, not anything like that, just the story of the record.
Yeah.
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Let's dive right in.
Okay.
So we pulled a couple from the shelves, and we're gonna start with Paramore's Riot.
Banger.
Great record, in my opinion, one of their best, but you might have something to say about that. You're a big Paramore fan.
I have the same pressing and the same one that you have too.
So this is, I think, the first pressing. It is the white variant. First or second?
I think it's the first was the white, and yeah, go on.
Yeah, so the fun story about this is one of my best friends in the entire world, Michelle. We've been friends since we were 13 or 14. What up, LiveJournal? Anyways, I just dated myself. I used to go over to her apartment. We would, watch stupid movies or go drive around or go to Taco Bell or something like that. And she had this very record framed in her house for years. And every time I'd go over, I'd be like, let me have that.
Yeah.
Can I have that? Because I was collecting records. She's not a record collector, but she loves Paramore, so I understand why she owned it. Years and years of me asking for this, I finally just gave up. I was like, you know what? I'm going to find a pressing eventually, because this is back before, Fueled by Ramen pressed the heck out of this as of late. I had moved to Austin, genuinely all but forgot that I used to do this. This is years after I stopped. One time she came and visited me in Austin, and she gifted me this record, and I was so happy. I will never get rid of this record.
It's a good one.
It is. The music on it's wonderful. I just love the story about how I just bugged the hell out of my friend until they gave it to me.
You would.
This one's for you, Michelle. All right, you go right ahead.
Mine aren't as fun. Okay, so my first one I picked. Copeland in Motion. I kept asking you if I ever told this story before, but I've told you a million times, I guess.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you could actually bid on eBay for records, and I just remember, being at my mom's and bidding on a few and then going to bed and just being like, that would be a great price if I did win it like that, but most of the time you wouldn't.
One of the few records you bought aftermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this...
It was harder to find. It's the olive, green, and brown, and white colors, which is the pressing that I wanted. So that's what I was looking for.
Well, it tells a lot about the culture and the drop culture that vinyl is turning into, right?
Right.
Everybody wants the limited edition. Everybody wants the cool colors, which is fine. There's nothing wrong if that's how you collect.
Yeah. This was so long ago, too.
The issue is with, think places like StockX now selling vinyl and things like that. It's near impossible to get an out-of-press record for a fairly decent price. And even at the time, you said this, was going for like $100+, and you got it for $40 on eBay?
Yeah, it was around 40, and I was like, I woke up and it said that I won, and I was like, holy shit. You know,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
was so pumped that I got it. And like, you know, I was just over myself.
Overjoyed, if
very
you will.
much so I was just like, such a good deal. But
It says a lot.
yeah, you can't really, I don't think you can do that anymore, right? Like,
It's
not
usually like a
even-
mistake on eBay where someone had it listed as a CD. And
Yeah, I mean, back in it was probably 2010,
yeah.
you know, or 11 where I got it. So I don't go bidding on eBay anymore for records. And,
No, don't do it, kids. Bad for your health.
But let me mention though my
Oh,
other
she's cheating.
extra. I'm not cheating. It's just a little 7-inch
Go ahead.
Native Trash. I got this at the show. If anybody ever heard of the band Harvard, which is
And Enjoy the Ride Records alum. We
so
love
great.
Enjoy the Ride here.
And this is also from Enjoy the Ride as well. The lead singer had these for sale at just like the small, like I saw them in a really small bar and in New Orleans, and they had these for sale, and I was like, cool, why not? I collect vinyl, so I'm just gonna buy this.
Yeah.
And like figured out what it was. Apparently a lot of people want it. He wants it. I've been contacted before with people asking more than once if I would ever sell it, and I'm like, no.
Oh, God, honey, no.
This sort of started your love affair with Harvard, and both of us share that.
Yeah. Oh, I love Harvard. They're so great. I have all their stuff too on vinyl.
I think they should come back.
Me too.
All right, after that
Now it's your
cheating
turn.
scandal.
No cheating no more. Go.
So I wanted to really touch on, because you sort of did, I wanted to really touch on how it used to be so easy to go out and buy a record. Now you gotta wait, you gotta take time off of work if you really want a record and to
Yeah.
get it on time, which I've absolutely done. Guilty.
Yeah, same.
This one, I'm gonna show in a second. Everybody calm down. This one
Hurry.
is very sought after and sells, I've seen go for hundreds on Discogs, eBay, boards that I frequent. Every Time I Die, The Big Dirty. I walked into, it was like a weekend, and it was in my hometown. It was like right before I moved to Austin, Texas. And I was like, I need some retail therapy. I need some vinyl therapy, which I think anybody in the vinyl community can understand. And Hot Topic used to sell vinyl in stores, and it didn't sell well in stores. Online, that's a whole other story, but in the actual brick and mortar places, it didn't sell well. So they were constantly marking stuff down. I got this on clearance for $9 when I bought this. I've always loved Every Time I Die. I think that's any win where you can get a record for super cheap in the vinyl community is something that needs to be shared, for sure. This is the brown pressing. I haven't looked up the price recently, but it goes for a lot, and I will never sell this. I absolutely adore this record. It's top 3 Every Time I Die records for me, and I'll always have this story. $9 on clearance.
And may I add, so before I move on, it's funny because I knew that Hot Topic, I was going to say like, wow, they didn't just stay in business with their vinyl just because of me, because I would go in there all the time, and I have like back in, before 2010, I probably had a bunch of records that I got at Hot Topic. And I think like the people that knew about it, we weren't telling other people. Like we didn't want other people to know.
It was our little secret. Yeah.
So like we were like, don't tell anybody. But is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Because my turn, it's kind of also a Hot Topic story. It was back in 2012. I flew out to Virginia and went to DC and Philly, and I went to the Journey's Backyard Barbecue in the parking lot of the King of Prussia Mall in Philadelphia, and it was really cool. And like the mall is literally like 2 malls combined by like a bridge, and it's like you can walk across a bridge into the next mall, and it's like a whole other mall. So it's literally 2 malls. Apparently it's like one of the largest shopping centers areas in the country, or I don't know, maybe the world. but maybe the country. I don't know. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We went and saw Circus Survive, and for some reason I went into the Hot Topic in the King of Prussia, and I found this bad baby, and I was like, cool, Circus Survive is playing today.
But that's not a Circus Survive record.
No,
Yeah.
let's grab, I want this friggin', Anthony Green record, which is one of my favorites, Beautiful Things. This was one of the records that I had in that bag.
Tell the story.
Okay,
I know
okay.
about the bag. They don't.
I feel like I told it already before, but I had, the Hot Topic bags were black.
Mm-hmm.
And during the whole show, I was like up on the, barricade in the front.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, but I had a Hot Topic bag around my
With
arm.
this record in it.
With this record in it, and maybe a t-shirt,
Yeah.
and another record was in that bag, and I was crushed up against the barricade and jumped around and had black marks on my arms from the bag stretching, the Hot Topic bag stretching, and it's in good shape.
It's in good shape. It doesn't look. There's no reason it should still be in good shape when this story was 10 years ago, and you went into a live show with this in a
Outside.
plastic bag.
Yeah, it was an outdoor.
That's not fair.
I was sweating, and it was gross, and it was fun, and I had black crap all over my arm for a day.
But
and-
whenever you pull out this record, you're just reminded of that story. You don't even need to
It's-
play it.
No.
You pull it out. That's kind
Yeah.
of what's beautiful about collecting.
It was great, yeah. And I was like, holy cow. I don't even think I went into, actually, this was what was released that year. This was their 2012 record.
Yeah.
So I think I was like, well, let's go somewhere and see if we can find the new Anthony Green. And I did, and so it was kind of cool.
That is neat.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, last one for
Okay.
me, but not last one for you because you cheated.
No, I just did two
I
at
said
one
3?
time.
That's true. Okay, I'll give it to you. This one, I'm not going to talk too much about the music before I introduce it, but think Electric Six meets Converge, I guess. That's the best way I can describe this band. Test Icicles. I think that's how you say it. Tony Test Icicles. Yeah.
Testicles?
First, no. Test Icicles. So, yeah, Electric Six meets Converge. That's the way I can describe it. It's really strange. How I got this. So, me and my other good friend Tony used to listen to this, I want to say in our early 20s. I don't remember when this came out exactly. But we were obsessed with it. And it was such an important time for me when it came to listening to music. And that's simply because I started moving away from that whole gatekeeping attitude and
Right.
really just started listening to anything that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
For years, I saw this online. I think it was Cheapo Records or something like that, .com for a few bucks or, 20, 30 bucks. This is not a band that gets a regular repress of this. It was their only album. The only other things they have on vinyl is weird remixes of these songs that are already on here, which I own. Anyways, so me and Tony the day before had been texting or something about hey, remember Test Icicles? I was like, yeah, I should have picked up that record when I had the chance. And then that weekend I was going to End of an Era when we were living in Austin, Texas. And this was in their used new arrival for
Nice.
12 bucks or
Yeah.
something like that. And I immediately texted Tony, sent him a picture. And it's just the feel of that find.
Yeah.
How was I just speaking about
Right.
this less than 24 hours ago and then it showed up used?
Yep.
This is not, Adele.
Yeah.
You're not going to find it anywhere where you find music.
Exactly.
It is, I highly recommend this because it's just such a weird listen, but it will forever remind me of Tony, and whenever I pull this off the shelves, it'll forever remind me of that day. Test Icicles for screening purposes only. Weird, wonderful, aggressively electronic album.
Right.
Check it out. And last but certainly not least,
Oh, of course, never least. Oh, okay.
we got a theme going on here.
I guess so, because this happened the same day as my last story. I apologize. But that day was very eventful and fun.
Yeah.
So, so I was one of the main acts. They had a bunch of different people playing like Mariana's Trench and stuff. Playing
This is at the Journey's backyard.
At the Journey's, but yeah, and then they had like, apparently they were like famous like dirt bike professional people that rode on like
Dirt bike professional people.
professional dirt bike riders.
How does that fit on a resume?
I don't know, you know those guys.
Okay.
That's what they do.
All right.
They ride around and do half pipes on their dirt bikes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like it had a lot of that kind of stuff going on.
Okay.
Anyway, so we watched a lot of dirt bikes on half pipes, and then then they had Mariana's Trench playing, and after Mariana's Trench was my guys, Circa Survive, and obviously that's who I was going to see. Me and my friend Brian were there all day, and we met up with people, and while we were there, they had this for sale, and like just the little booth that they had like a whole bunch of sale items. I got a bunch of jackets and t-shirts that are like still my favorites, but it was just like overstock of things, so it was all $5 a shirt. And so I got this.
Well, there's some scribblings on it.
There
Tell us
is.
about
I was just
those.
about to say that. So I'm standing there, and here comes Brendan, and I'm like, hey,
Nobody knows. Who's Brendan?
guitarist.
Okay.
One of them.
I'm not a big Circa fan,
Move this man!
so I don't know their names.
Well, then I said, I'll buy this if you sign it. And so he was like, cool, yeah, I bought it for like $15, maybe $12, I don't know. And then I opened it right there, and then I got it signed. And then I like walked around with it just with one signature for a minute, and then I eventually saw the rest of the group and would just ask them to sign it. And then for a minute, I didn't have Anthony's signature, and then I saw him over like
Where
one of
you
the
couldn't go.
barricades. Correct. I was, not allowed in that area, and I
Yep.
asked somebody that had been, at one of the booths right there for all day, and I was there all day, so I was like, hey, can you go ask Anthony to sign this? He's the only signature I need. And he was like, hell yeah, that's what you definitely need that. And he like brought it over there. And I have a picture where Anthony is signing this record. And so this was back 2012, I think it was, maybe 2011 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody signed it, and it was great. This was also in that frickin' bag.
And
the
it
Hot Topic
survived.
Bag that
It survived.
Yeah, it's a little like,
I like it.
but yeah, that was a really fun day.
Whatever. The takeaway from this is, I think we all have our stories about specific albums. So you could take a Circa album and be like, this is the one that means the most to me because of the music on it.
Right.
This is more of an approach from a collector's mentality, and I think the big takeaway is that collecting rules. And I think it's crazy when people pick on us and be like, you have so many records and
Yeah,
da-da-da-da.
it's fun, though.
It is a fun, we get the best of both worlds. We get that, we don't collect action figures, we don't collect comics, we don't collect these things, we collect music in a physical format. And I think that's great.
I agree.
Wait, do you hear that?
What?
Oh, it's somebody asking where we got these awesome shirts.
Oh my God.
So in the link below on this video, you can purchase these
Go
shirts.
buy a shirt.
They
And
are-
Mine's long sleeve again.
They are made to order, and it takes a couple weeks to get them out, but they're super comfortable. It doesn't come with a Dancing Stacy.
Unfortunately,
It's a bummer.
I know. But get the long sleeve. It's really comfortable. I like it a lot.
Do you have any Jerry Springer final thoughts?
Jerry's. Right, you took my joke because I said final thoughts last time. Final thoughts. You should go and buy the merch, and they're on the Vinyl Reckoning profile. You can click on a thing that'll give you links.
There'll also be a link in the description.
Yeah, link in the description here. That's cool. I don't know. Check out the bands that we, talked about because they're fun and we love them, and we have stories about, all of it.
You just summed up the
Also-
whole video. This is the
Be kind to yourself and each other.
Jerry Springer.
TM.
For Vinyl Reckoning, my name is Matt.
I'm Stacy.
Y'all be easy. Have a good night.